The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Gave them out?
Yeah, I gave them out. People didn't come?
Not the complimentary ones, the ones for $20.
I thought they all were complimentary. I gave them out.
I thought it was a show going on.
Oh, hey, what's up? I'm sorry. I thought I'm sorry. Hey, how you doing? I'm Lewis Dix.
I'm Jeff Arnold.
I'm Dannon Green. Why do I get the darn train when I get... What's wrong with you, POTUS?
No, that's not. That was me. That was.
I'm sorry.
That was Code 3 calling.
Okay, sorry.
I think it's a train.
I'm sorry. Damn.
So I know she coming.
I do it.
Hey, Showtime. Hey, I'm back. I guess they held it down last week. Did y'all?
Yes, sir.
Y'all did it last week?
Yes, sir.
I heard it was.
We got a phone call.
I called.
Somebody called in and said we're doing a great job.
Oh, that's right. I did call. I did. Yeah, it was okay. So
I thought we came to agreement. The opening shot was on me.
Yeah. Hilarious. You got to let her know ahead of time that you want to open the shot.
I actually texted, but I guess she didn't get my text.
It's so many people doing podcasts and radio shows. I don't even feel like it's unique. It's like everybody and everybody's mother is doing the podcast, and it's just like it's like
diluted.
Even when I listen to the sports talk show now, everybody's talking about themselves, and you can't even get sports.
Right. That's right.
You know, it's like everybody talking about what they're eating, and it's like the world feels like everyone cares about
what they're doing. Yeah,
at the moment.
Yeah, and I don't even feel that way now. I know I'm important. When I talk, people want to hear me.
Right.
But I think everyone feels that way now.
Supposedly.
And you don't even, because as an artist, you used to feel like, okay, I have something to say. I'm an artist. I've earned this quirky weirdness about myself that makes people say, but now it's everyone.
But you know,
little kids.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, people on bicycles. I mean, it's like little.
Well, the pandemic just erupted a whole lot because no one could do anything. And that's when all these podcasts really surfaced and emerged.
But it's like everybody's not interesting.
No. Well, the problem I have...
And I'm sure people are saying that about us.
No, they're not saying that about me. They may be saying it about you, but I'm interesting.
Let me say everyone is interesting.
There you go.
Okay, everyone has something interesting about them that everyone has something to say. But I think we're at a point now where it's just too much.
I agree, and I think one of the problems that we have...
It's not too much. It's how do you stand out?
I guess I was talking
above everyone else.
I think some people need to say no.
Yeah.
No, that's not for you. It's just too much.
Well, I think one of the problems is...
But we'll see.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let me chime in on this because this is my
That's
lane.
That's part of the problem. You're chiming in. You're on camera.
Yeah.
That's part of my argument. That's part of my argument.
The big problem is that
but I welcome your opinion.
The producers aren't producers. They have stuff to say on talk shows.
Yeah.
Producers are talking.
Interrupting
their opinion.
the guest.
Yeah.
And the people that are supposed to be speaking, like myself.
Okay, go ahead. What you were saying?
Well, thank you. You mean me or her?
Excuse me, Dannon.
Oh, again? Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's what I always teach my clients because I teach podcasting is don't talk about yourself. People do not care. And the key to a successful podcast is to have great content and marketing because there is so many podcasts out there. That's my 2 cents.
That was actually a nickel.
Yeah, you took all of that, Tom. Okay, so I think one of the...
Very informative. Thank you.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems that we have...
It's obvious that Jeff is campaigning to do his own show because he's like super friends with her. And
I was like, nobody wants to hear what the fuck I got to say.
Well, okay,
exactly,
go ahead. Why are you sitting? Okay, in the middle anyway.
Exactly. You're supposed to be in the middle.
It's fine. That's what I'm saying. It's too much.
It's too much.
We have to work on who we're inviting. Go ahead, Danny.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems that we have with the podcast is that outside of people talking about themselves all the time is no one is really speaking truth. And the podcast that I see and what I'm noticing in terms of even with comedy lately is when people are really talking about what's going on, because I think people are now tired that the country is that the pendulum is changing, and people are tired of hearing just, like you said, stuff that doesn't matter. There's so many people going through things, and some people really don't know how to get out of them, and they need to hear interesting stories or ways to get out of it. I never used to got into that. Oh, be an example. But as you get older and you see people really, or looking up to you, or a kid saying, yo, I remember when you, especially you being a coach, you'd be like, oh man, hey, Coach Dix, I appreciate you this, or whatever Jeff used to do in terms of coaching.
Let's clarify. He's an assistant coach.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. I
well,
thought,
this assistant coach is in the CIF Open Division Championship tonight.
Congratulations, man.
All right.
So, as I was
go.
saying, if I was interrupted by the assistant coach's number one hater, I just really believe that, Lou, I just really believe that no one's telling the truth anymore. Everybody's walking on eggshells, and they're just doing enough to keep people happy. They hopefully get sponsors, and so hopefully that's not what we do, and I don't think we do that here.
No, it's so much misinformation.
There's not misinformation.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of misinformation.
There's no information being put out.
But it's a lot of misinformation that's being put out.
There's no information being put out. About like what?
Social issues.
Like what? What's the misinformation about social issues?
With COVID, all of that.
That's
you don't know.
That's the
science,
government.
You don't know, but that's what I'm saying. People are relaying their opinions.
But that's okay because they're at least not talking
fact-checking
about themselves. What I'm saying is, say what you really.
Because they're saying that this is what I haven't gotten the vaccination, and this is the reason why I won't get vaccinated, and it's because I'm
now that's interesting.
No, but it's still misinformation though.
No, but that's what people want to hear. People want to hear why you don't want to do something that they're making everyone else do. People want to hear, how did you become, a model, and you never been to school for modeling? Oh, Jeff's got a good look. People want to know, how did Lewis Dix become assistant? I mean, really. And if not how you guys did it, but how to do it or how to look into things.
But everybody's blueprint is not for everyone though.
If you let me ask you a question. This is a good question. Right now, a podcast that off your mindset, just straight off your head. Not, there's so many of them. What podcast do you like?
I don't listen to podcasts.
Okay, great.
I listen to sports talk shows.
Okay, well, what sports show do you like?
Actually, I listen to classical music. I actually don't listen to.
If you would listen to
I watch. NPR is what I listen.
What's NPR?
National. What was that?
Public Broadcasting. It's I listen to NPR that tells the straight news, and and it's just.
Okay, let me ask you this: Do you listen to CNN?
If it's on, but I haven't listened to it, watched it in a while.
You listen to Fox?
The same thing. No.
See, that's the problem. I'm just giving you an example. No, I'm not saying that you have to listen. No one looks to different contrasts of information.
Well, so NPR gives you the straight. You're getting from opinions from Fox and CNN.
Okay.
So you're getting from the left to the right, and NPR gives you straight in the middle.
Right. So they're giving you the neutral, what they really feel is the truth.
Well, what their perspective, like Tucker Carlson, why would I listen to him knowing his spin on it?
Okay, but why not? When you know,
well, Don because I know he has an agenda.
But everybody has.
But not NPR doesn't. Okay. NPR is giving you the straight news.
Okay, well, I need to listen to NPR.
Yes, because NPR gives you straight
CNN,
news.
Fox. But what I'm saying in terms of the podcast, that's like for me. Okay, I listen to Corey Hogan. I listen to the brother out of Atlanta that talks about the dating dude. What's his name?
There you go. That tells it right there. The dating dude. That's how effective they are to you. The dating dude. The dating dude.
Well,
okay.
him. That guy.
Okay. I don't know. Now, all your experience in life, what can the dating dude tell you that you can't figure out how to treat someone?
Man, Lou, that's a fucking great question. Nothing. But I listen to him for not what he says, but really for what the women say. That is a kick. Give me a pound, bro, because that's real talk.
But you know.
No, that's real talk, though, right, Jeff?
But everybody. The basic format is that everybody brings stuff from their childhood into their life.
No, but what you just said was very true.
Packages.
I'm not listening to what his response is because I know how I'm gonna react anyway. But just to hear what some of these women are saying, and then when you respond, it kind of validates your feelings or thoughts when you hear someone else say the same thing. But we know
the overall view that women are very seldom. Very few women are ever happy.
Yes, I don't know what that's about.
All right.
You're right. Even when you give them the world, they still not happy.
Yes. They're just not.
I have stopped trying to give women the world.
I mean,
I'm not sure if a ramen noodle dinner is the world, but I stopped trying to give it to them.
It's just,
and then you're a hater.
Give them a globe.
Then that's the crazy thing about it. When you stop, you become a hater, or not a hater, but you become, oh, you're not a man. You don't know how to handle women. Nah. Like the worst thing, I think every black man, because I don't know if white women say this to white men. Brothers hate, at least the ones I know, and I'll speak for myself. When you say you can't handle a strong black woman, or you don't want a strong black woman, it's just what do you mean? Who wants to have to go out and battle the world and then come home and have to battle my lady?
Well, it depends on how many bedrooms you're coming home to.
Oh, so you got
it's an easier battle if it's a 4-bedroom. If it's a 1-bedroom, it's a tougher battle.
It's a tough battle.
If it's a studio, it's a tougher battle.
Yeah, but if you got 4-bedroom,
4-bedroom, it's a nicer.
You know what?
Bet.
I'm gonna holler at you later.
Hold up.
Uh-oh.
Why does a strong black woman have to be equated to someone who's always combative?
Because if you go on social media, that's what you say. Most of the time, I'm strong. You never notice women that have a man, 95%, you never hear them say, I'm a strong black woman. But women that are single, that's what they say. I'm a strong black woman. I'm independent. Anytime you say independent, you're single. Anytime you keep saying you're strong, I don't need no man. You never need a man till that rent, dinner, or something's due. Well, he don't want to take out the trash, baby. You don't need me. You strong. I'm in the gym working out, trying to catch you.
Yeah, I could see why you're single. So listen,
no, because I tell the truth. That's exactly why. And that's real talk.
Nothing's wrong with your truth.
And that's why our podcast is good, because I'm going to speak the truth.
All right.
Okay. Got that off my chest. I had an issue last night with a chick. My fault.
Oh, wow.
See? Did she spend the night?
Nah.
Huh? You didn't meet at my spot, did you?
Oh, yeah, Jeff Jeff, I didn't know. This is the motherfucking mayor of the Dime.
Well, yeah, it's his company. Yeah, he runs the Dime.
Damn, Jeff, I never knew that. I mean, when I went in there, the bartender said, I said, can I get a drink? He said, did you speak to Jeff? Jeff wasn't even there yet. I said, no. He said, well, you got to wait. Everybody was waiting for a drink till this nigga showed up.
Well, Jeff is.
You didn't know we was investors. That's our business for the last 15 years.
I never knew that, and I'm so happy to be there. It was a great opportunity to come.
It's a lot that, even though it's a lot that you'll know about us.
I don't care about you two. Be honest with you.
Fair enough. Listen, is our guest here? All right, this is the guest.
But that was my first time being at the Dime, and I had a nice time.
We only have a few more 3 days left for Black History Month.
Yeah,
and it's been kind of a.
No, we don't.
You know, Juwan Howard got lucky. If it wasn't Black History Month, he would have got fired.
For slapping that guy?
They said, we want to fire you, but we can't fire you during Black History Month. What'd you feel about that?
About him slapping?
Yeah, because you being the coach, I'd love to hear your side of it.
Well, you got to, when you're coaching kids, you got to be an example. As much as there's a lot of things we say as coaches, we make sure the door is closed or the player's not around. I mean, things you say about the players, things you say about other coaches, but it's just all about,
it's in the house.
Shaking hands, just sportsmanship.
Like, do you think they should abolish the line?
No, definitely got to man up and take the
L, take the win.
I mean, it's like, it is what it is.
It's competition.
Because Pat Ewing at Georgetown is calling for the abolishment.
It's stupid.
It's like, we need
Pat
to get rid of it.
No.
It's never really won.
No. And you know what that does? That's and by doing that, that's what America does. Anytime there's an issue, we're going to sweep it under the rug and get rid of it.
I mean,
learn to shake hands.
I mean, it's just certain things that are just the way the world is now. It's like
terrible,
everybody's got a mental health day, and mental health is real.
So,
but it's just
go back on it because you coach. Do you think what Wisconsin did? Do you think that was fucked up?
Calling a timeout?
Yeah.
Well, the coach explained why he called a timeout. Right. I mean, but again, Juwan Howard's team was pressing him. He was pressing him.
And then Juwan Howard tried to say they wasn't pressing. He said we was just in a man.
Let me ask you a question.
What?
Why are you touching everybody this morning?
Oh, I apologize, man.
Yeah, because evidently it didn't go well with his girl last night.
I'm lonely.
But do you think that was at what point? I felt that because I watched some of the game and I was just like, all right, you got to call up the press.
Yeah, but the problem was he just was upset. He's having a bad season. Yep. Listen, this gentleman's from Dayton, Ohio.
Ohio State.
There you go. You represent. He was the second permanent host of Soul Train.
Yes,
Yes.
And I mean, it's
He had an
from
animal
1997 to 1999. Mm-hmm. He wrote on Cousin Skeeter, which was one of my kids' favorite shows. Okay. He's executive producer of American Soul. Mm-hmm. He's been in such films as Stormcatcher, chairman of the board, and such TV shows as Def Jam, Parenthood, The Show, Love Spring International. And I was trying to figure out, because he was doing his art, then he went into the military.
But he also had
in the military first.
He had an animal show for 10
years.
years.
He's what?
He had an animal show on the Animal Planet for 10 years.
Well, there you go.
And also, he signed one of the biggest holding deals ever in Hollywood.
Well, and Jeff was nice enough to Jeff reached out to him to come on.
You kidding? Who is it?
Yes, and it's Maestro Clark.
Hey!
What up, fam?
Hey,
Clark!
how y'all doing, bro? Good.
What up? Keep it 100.
Keep it 100. Don't kick
They
nobody.
don't even know. I started that in '89. They still using it. You're welcome.
What up, Clark?
What in '89?
Well, the Keep It 100. I was the first one to start using that back in '89, bro.
Oh.
Before it blew up.
Oh, okay.
I was the originator.
And you didn't copyright it.
I did.
Oh,
You know.
So first of all,
I had Dannon do it for me.
before we go any further, what branch of the military are you in?
I'm in the Army.
Okay, so first of all, thank you.
Thank Dannon. I knew.
No, thank you for your service.
Oh,
right?
yeah, most definitely.
It's all about you.
Are you in the military?
No, I support the military.
So then why are you saluting? I don't think he can do that, can he, Maestro?
I mean, he can. I mean, we don't have to return it, but yeah, it's a show of respect. You can still salute. As long as you do it properly with the right hand, we good.
And I just did. Thank you, Maestro.
Okay. Now,
Right.
So you were in the military before you got into entertainment?
Right. When because I was in ROTC in college. So before I moved to LA, I was already in the Army. Then I went to Desert Storm and came back, then came straight to LA to try to finish my comedy. I wanted to go pro.
Now,
So yeah, I just took a break.
What are some of the things that you received being in the military that helped you in becoming an entertainer, help you sustain yourself?
Bruh, the biggest thing I think is self-discipline. You know, you gotta grind hard. People think being a comedian is all about just being funny. I mean, I tell brothers now, especially young brothers, like, how can I get started? I was like, it's some dudes is family reunion funny. It means you backyard uncle funny. Yeah. This is a discipline where you got to be able to run the marathon, not the sprint. So, and, as everybody on here know, we all been doing this for a minute, over 10, 20 years. Yep. So yeah, you got to keep grinding and grinding. It's about consistency in the military. That's it. Especially being a leader, you got to be able to take a team and motivate them to run towards bullets. Average people don't do that.
Now you've been in the military for over 20 plus years, right?
Right. I got about 23 now.
Now, wow. What is your rank?
Right now I'm a major. I'm about to get promoted again in the next couple months, hopefully.
That's to what? From major to
captain? No, major.
Lieutenant colonel.
Yeah, Lieutenant colonel.
Wow.
So that is wait. It starts with private and then goes to. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, well, the enlisted ranks start with private. Like if you just go to basic training and then come out, then you'll be a private. Then you go to in the Army, at least, you'll be a private specialist. Then you make sergeant, which is that's the first NCO rank, which is non-commissioned officer. So you make sergeant, staff sergeant, sergeant first class, master sergeant. Then you can make sergeant major, which is the highest enlisted rank. Then you start with the officer ranks, which the only way to become an officer is either go to graduate from West Point Officer Candidate School or college ROTC. High school ROTC don't make you an officer. That may give you an extra stripe, but you still got to go to college ROTC to get the job. Okay. And then that starts with, second lieutenant, first lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, full bird colonel, then general.
So you're a major.
Right.
So you were in college at
Where did
ROTC.
you go?
So
Where did you go to college?
You're considered an officer.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Where did you go to college, Maestro?
I went to University of Dayton.
Oh, you went to Dayton?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know you went to Dayton. Okay.
So
yeah, you was at Ohio State,
yes,
right?
sir. Repping this right here, baby.
I see. I was about to get my master's at Ohio State, dog. They was trying to charge too much at the time, so I had to circle back on them.
Well, you should. Well, I got my master's from Ohio State. And,
right, I know.
And what you should have did was became a graduate assistant. They would paid your ass to go ahead and do it. They took care of you.
Hey, I ain't had time for all that. I was trying to hurry up.
I got you. I got you.
Hey, so you are leading young men and women right now.
Correct.
So you have platoons underneath you. So if you go to, how does that work? I'm just trying to get a sense of it. That you are in command of what, or whom?
Right. I mean, it's like literally it depends on what level you're on. Like most people start out on the company level, but like a new officer coming out of college, you're gonna be probably a platoon leader. Which, depending on the type of unit it is, that might be anywhere from 20 to 60 people under you that you in charge of training and all that for the mission. Okay. Then as you move up, you get bigger and bigger units. Like by the time you make captain, your next leadership may be a company command, which could be anywhere from 80 to 150 people. And then after that, you go battalion and then brigade, and then you actually regiment, army, all that kind of stuff.
So how many are you leading right now?
Right now, I'm an OIC of a command staff, so I got a team. So it's not I'm not right now. I only got like 5 or 6 people. So yeah.
So my thing is, so when actual war, who goes first? When is the army? When is the army deployed? Is the Marines always the first to hit land, or do you all go first, or what?
Yeah, usually it depends on the type of battle, but yeah, Marines, they usually first ones in because they a small, heavy hitter, quick moving type. That's what they designed to do. So they usually first in. That's their motto. They hit the ground first and start breaking stuff and snatching people. Then the Army, we a much bigger, slower moving force. I mean, we can get people to the fight, but we built to kind of set up shop and stay longer. Marines get in, tear up stuff, and leave. Then we stay and hold it down usually. And
then Air Force does what is there?
They drop y'all off.
They cover.
Well, you let him. And none of us have been in the military.
I've been around.
So stop answering for him. Hell, they talk about misinformation or they cover.
Okay, go ahead, Maestro.
I mean, he partially right.
Oh,
yeah, the Air Force is. The Air Force usually goes in. I mean, depending on who you're fighting. Let's take, for example, I don't know, say Russia as a good example for now.
Right.
I mean, because like the Air Force will go in and knock out the air defenses and all that. You try to bomb strategic targets first. That's just general tactics. You're going to go in and blind them first. So when you send in your armor and your ground units and all that, they're not taking as much fire. You want to knock out as much stuff as possible beforehand. And the Navy can sit offshore and lob rounds in a couple miles and just knock out targets. And then special forces will be in on the ground before that, marking targets without getting seen or caught, so they know what they want to hit. That's usually how that goes.
Yeah.
Clark, first of all, thank you, man, for your service to the country.
Appreciate it.
One reason I really
hold on. Didn't we just say that up front?
But I wanted to say it again.
Okay.
I have
family, dog. You can say it. It's
you know what's up, Maestro. Hey, but here's the deal. Honestly, the reason I have so much respect for the military now is over the last 5 years, I did 3 tours over like Bahrain, Kuwait, Egypt, and they taught us so much about what you guys do.
You didn't do tours; you entertained them.
I was entertaining.
You mean comedy shows?
Comedy
tours?
Yeah, but it was. But we were at the like the Bahrain
at the base.
Yes, like we were at one spot. They said you can't even let people know you're here. Like we were not able to take pictures. Right. No, and what I'm saying is they told us so much about what you guys do and all of the different parts of the military. That's why I knew about. Maybe not totally correct, but about the Air Force. And I just want to. So what I want to.
Let me just explain to you.
Can I ask my question?
Go ahead. It took forever. I didn't know you were asking the question.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Go ahead.
So what I wanted to know, Maestro, before I was really interrupted again, is did you serve overseas, and wherever you served, where was it?
That was your question. It took you that long to ask that question? If you guys were at war, he would have been shot 4 times.
No, it would have been it would have been sign language then.
Damn.
Sorry. Anyway, Maestro.
Hey, I got you. Yeah, I've been overseas a couple times, man. I mean, but I was deployed and it's combat deployments and then it's overseas deployments. That's the main difference. Like you can get sent places overseas where it's not an actual combat zone. That's a little different, but yeah, I was in Iraq, during the war. And I've been to Korea, been to a couple other continents that, we ain't supposed to name right now. It'll come out maybe one day when I'm 90, I may admit to it. But Yeah, I've been to a couple different continents, but Iraq a couple times is the main one. We was over there still getting it in, like up till 2011.
Yeah, I landed on an aircraft carrier when I entertained the troops, and then Black Hawks. That's what we had.
Remember we said earlier about podcasting, not about.
I'm just telling you about real stuff. Your stuff is I was on tour. Like as if you were actually fighting. You went and did some comedy, and they your set was so bad they didn't want you to tell people you were there.
Classified, confidential.
Yeah, it was horrible. They were on the ticket saying, yeah, Dannon Green was horrible. Yeah, please submit. So, Maestro, let's get to your art. What was that transition like? Because I think you replaced. Did you replace what's his name? The so-called sexy guy on the Soul Train.
Shamar?
Yeah. Did you? That's who you
replaced. He replaced me. I was first. I was after Don.
Yeah. Okay, so so how did that come about? Because Don Cornelius was was set in stone. So
right.
How was that?
Yeah.
How did you get that?
Right. That was just kind of one of those. That was just God in the universe, dropping me a gift, because that fell in my lap. My manager knew some of his people, and my attorney knew some of his people. And back in the day, this is what I always tell young comedians: you never know what little show is going to put you on somebody's radar, even if it ain't big money. You never know who's going to see it. I did comedy on there back in the day, like probably around 5 years before that, when he was bringing comedians on the show.
Right.
And then he remembered it. And then when he was looking for a permanent host, because they were having new guest hosts every week before that for about a year, and it wasn't really working out. So he asked he talked to my manager, and they said he wanted to talk to me about taking over the show. So it really happened over a phone call for me.
So you called, Don Cornelius, you and Don Cornelius was on the phone. How did that go?
I mean, actually, the first call, I wasn't even on there. It was my manager and my attorney was on it.
Was it Reno?
It was Reno, right?
Yeah, Reno.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Did he pass?
No, Reno ain't dead.
Nah, he's still around.
Oh, I'm sorry. His career is dead. Go ahead. No.
Maestro, you might want to talk to me, man. They want to put people in war and kill them.
No.
Right. Nah, Reno's still cool. I talked to him about a week ago. Yep.
So, okay.
Yeah, they was on the first call, and I was on the second call.
And so you had watched Soul Train just like all of us growing up. Were you intimidated? Yeah. Was it something? Did you feel like you wanted to make it your own? What was your approach?
Yeah, I was definitely nervous and intimidated. I grew up in Ohio, so we all gathered around the TV on Saturday afternoon watching Soul Train like all brothers. That was our good times. Soul Train on Saturday afternoon, bro. That was religion. So when I first got the offer to take over, I was like, okay, cool. But then it started sinking in, like, oh man, I've been doing it for 25 years, so I can't be him. And at that point, I was just coming off my sketch comedy show. So I was used to, doing different characters every night and all that, like Saturday Night Live. So I was like, okay, how do I approach this as far as, hosting is a different animal. For people that don't realize, hosting is a skill set that ain't just it's not even in the same box with acting. It's acting, hosting, then it's characters. So, those are three different actual skill sets that people don't really take into account. So I was trying to make sure I don't mess it up, because people already love the show. As a host, it's your job to just get the information out and stay out of the way, and still make it, as a comedian, still make it kind of funny and watchable, but cool. Don't try to do too much. That was my thing.
And when did you feel you hit your groove? Was it the middle of the first year, the end of the first year, or going into the second year?
Man, I think probably like around kind of like around the end of the first year, I started feeling kind of more comfortable. Because it was, because it was a dictatorship. I ain't gonna lie. Everybody was used to taking their orders from him directly. Okay. I mean, he wrote the questions, everything. Because, when it's your show, you do that. And that's how he started out in Chicago. He made up his own questions. Mm-hmm. So now he had his assistant and all that, but he was still hands-on all over everything. So he wasn't used to somebody coming in as another host doing it. So I'm thinking, okay, after a couple shows, when he see he can trust me and I got it, he let me do my thing. But it was still, after about, half a season, going toward the end of the first season, he was still kind of doing most of his own thing. Every now and then I would throw my thing in. But my thing is, I wanted to memorize the questions beforehand, because everybody that, I went to real acting school. I wasn't just one of them dudes that was trying to act. I wanted to know the craft. I went to theater of art. So I'm like, I want to memorize the questions so I can look the guest in the eye when I'm talking. instead of looking at the card.
Right.
You know, so that started becoming a problem because a lot of times I'd be in my dressing room and they would slide the questions under my door like 5 minutes before showtime. They want me to come downstairs. I'm like, bro, can I read it? I mean, I don't want to read it sitting in front of the audience. That just ain't professional to me. I can concentrate. That's what the dressing room is for to me. You know, I'm trying to be old school. So I think, you know, I guess they didn't like that. So it was like, oh, Maestro won't come out of the dressing room. I'm like, yeah, because I'm in here doing what I'm supposed to do.
I'm studying.
Right.
Did you have to
do?
do?
And I had. Right.
Did
and
you
I
have
had
to
my
deal with
boy
Tony?
with me that I was actually in officer school with as my assistant. So he was like looking out for me. So he would make sure everybody like left me alone and all that while I was trying to memorize. So we was running it like a military op. Damn. And I had my cousins with me that worked, you know, that worked probation and security. We was locking it down. So, you know, I guess he thought we were just some young brothers playing around. We was coming in strapped like a team. Right. Okay. So it looked like, I guess he felt like, oh, Maestro think he taking over the show. We're like, nah, bro, this is just how we do things. We come in professionally with it. So that started being a little awkward.
Yeah, it wouldn't last today.
Who was your most memorable guest that you enjoyed that you really want to have on?
Yeah, memorable. It was cool meeting LL. LL was cool. You know, of course, Snoop Dogg and all them came through. But, you know, Don didn't like a lot of rappers, though. So we wasn't having a lot of rappers on the show. That was always, he had to totally like and approve of the rappers. So let me see. Actually, you know who was real cool, though? I think it was Reby Jackson came on. She was nice as hell.
Okay.
Me and her talked a little bit afterwards. She was real cool.
Now, who was the one that came on? I know you may not want to spill the dirt, but who was the one that was like, wow, really? You a diva? You this, all of this? Wow. To get you out the dressing room?
That was actually, you know what? I didn't really have nobody like that. There wasn't nobody that was really that crazy, like, at least not to me, because I was only around them. You know, once we came down to the set, I would be sitting in my chair, you know, looking over my notes and stuff. So I would only be around them on stage, then off for a little bit. We didn't really talk that like much outside off camera. But, you know, a couple of people was, you know, they took forever to come out of their dressing room, stuff like that. But that's just what stars do. You know, that wasn't really tripping me out. Because we was getting done earlier anyway with me memorizing the questions. I mean, one of the crew came up to me like about 6 months in. He was like, yo, thank you, bro. I was like, what? He was like, we getting out of here 2-3 hours earlier than we ever have before. I was like, really?
Wow. Now, how many shows back then? How many shows were you taping a day?
We would do 2 a day. Yeah, we would still do 2 a day. Okay. But I was just knocking them out much quicker. Because I don't know, just my process was working. So plus I was used to memorizing 5 or 6 characters a day. When I was on the news, my first sketch show, we did 6 days a week, 2 live shows a day on camera, and they aired 1 a night. So it was like Saturday Night Live, 6 nights a week, bro. So that was like comedy boot camp. So after I came off that, I could memorize a script in just like 20 minutes. I would look at it and just like lock it in and be ready to go. Now, so that taught me how to work fast.
Now, why did you go re-enlist in the Army back in?
Actually, that was one of those things, man, because I mean, when I think back to my timeline, I said when I came out of college, I was like, you know what, if I make it at this guy, I'm going to do comedy for 20 years, then I'm going to just let it go. You know, that was my original plan. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to get famous. I'm going to get a TV show, blah, blah, blah. You know, some dudes now, they just want a show. They don't want to get good at comedy. They want comedy to get them something else,
right?
Which is, you know, kind of backwards to me. So once I hit 20 years, and then it seemed like the universe just started turning anyway. You know, my father passed, then I lost a couple other family members and all that. So I just started getting burnt out, man. I remembered because my whole family's military. It's kind of like the family business. My father, my older brother, my uncles. So I kind of remember telling him, I was like, you know what, after the comedy, I'll go back and finish the military, because he was hyped on me, you know, being in the military. He liked that because he was enlisted. He didn't really get to go that far back in the day. He was in the Korean War, so they only let brothers have a couple jobs back then. Mm-hmm. So once I became an officer, he was digging that more. He didn't even want me to do comedy at first. Oh, wow. So I told him I would finish my military career. I kind of promised him, like, let me do this, then I'll go back and do my other thing. But I was supposed to go to medical school originally. That's where I was headed. But I got, you know, I had to talk my deal with my father on that, because he wouldn't even come to a comedy show. Once I told him I wasn't going to medical school right now, he was hot.
Wow.
So I was like, okay. Then I said, I'll finish it. And then when he passed, I felt like it was time to go fulfill my promise and finish my military career before it was too late. Right. So I just took like a 12-year break actually, and then went back in. Luckily, as an officer though, a commissioned officer, we get commissioned by Congress. So we don't really re-enlist like sergeants and NCOs. We got to get our commission back from Congress. If you still got years left, if you ain't aged out, and if you got a skill set they can still use, they bring you back in front of a board of other officers and they grill you with a bunch of questions and all that, like a few good men, and then they decide whether you can come back in or not.
Okay, so you had to more or less reapply, and then they sat you down and you were interviewed.
Right, exactly. You got to put in a packet, let them know what you've been doing, and they look at your past record, what you did when you were in before, that kind of stuff.
Yep. Did they give you already set questions? Did you get pre-questions?
What'd you say?
Did you get the pre-questions before?
Oh, hell no. Nope. You just walk in, they lead you. They try to make it official as hell. You sitting, say downstairs at headquarters in a big room. Then all of a sudden they lead you in, a sergeant leads you in, and there's this big conference table with about 5 or 6 colonels sitting across from you, and you sit in the one seat on the other side, and they just start firing.
Hey, did you being in entertainment help you with their decision? Like when they saw that you were somewhat giving something back and didn't, kind of like the fact that you were still dealing with people?
Yeah. I mean, that probably did help a little bit. Like I didn't really go into too much detail with it. I just said, I have my own, I have my own company. I was doing, independent contractor work for, I usually just say, I do comedy. I don't usually say I'm a comedian because people don't get that. It conjures up all kind of weird ideas. I say, I was acting and running my own business and, writing comedy. I'll say, because, I write too. So I just say comedy, right? And they go, oh, okay, that's cool. But they still don't really get it.
Right.
Okay.
So they didn't really ask too much about it.
Now, being at Black History Month, we hear so much. Maybe you can help us get a better understanding about this, about the racism and the different journeys that Black military people had to deal with. Can you help us understand that better? I'm asking a rhetorical question. Is there racism at your level?
I mean, I think it's still around. I mean, luckily, I haven't been blocked off by it a lot, but you can still see it in certain places. I'm around cool people.
So how do you combat it? All right, here's a better question. How do you combat it? How do you combat it and deal with it? If a young person's sitting there and listening, trying to figure out, okay, what strategies could you give them?
I mean, I think the biggest thing, which is one of the lessons my parents taught me, is be good at your job. It's hard for them to hate on you when you know what you're doing and you're good at it. They can't really front on that. Results speak louder than words. So they might not want you there, but once you're there, be so hard to replace that they can't do nothing about it. Right. And I've always been cool with my bosses. That's the thing. Once you get to a new unit or whatever for the military, you find out what your boss wants. If the colonel likes stuff this way, then you make sure as long as you're giving him or her what they need, it's hard for anybody else to mess with you. Chief of staff and all that. We all work for the colonel or the general. So if you cool with that person and they ain't got no beef with you, that's a lot of protection, or that's a lot of overhead cover, as we call it. It's hard for somebody else to get rid of you. And when you go in, you can be friendly. You got to keep your eye open and your head swiveling and all that. But you can spot people that ain't comfortable around brothers. Usually, especially if you over 40 and been in the world a little bit, right. You can usually tell the dudes that's kind of not that comfortable around brothers and the people that are, because you gravitate toward people that gravitate towards you. I try to slap hands with everybody, see what's up the first couple of weeks, see who cool, who ain't. If we ain't cool, I just don't talk to them. We ain't really got to hang out. Now, I ain't really worried about it. So
now,
is that as far as that part?
What's your family structure? Are you married, kids? What's that?
Nah, man. I didn't go the kids route at all. I didn't get married or have kids. I was supposed to get married to my girl right after college, but then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna move to California and do this comedy thing. And she wanted to get married right there. And I was like, I don't want to do it. I can't do it right now. So that kind of ended that. We still cool though. I mean, we still actually talk, but it was just a timing thing for me. And then once I got going, I'm such a workaholic, man. I was so focused. That's that military mindset again, that I was like, I got to do this first now. I don't want to separate my energy like that, which, as you get older, it's bad and good. You have some regrets. I mean, I still got a girlfriend, but, the wife and kids thing, that's a choice. That's a lifestyle choice, which a lot of military officers either divorced or don't have a family because it's just a hard life. That's the main thing I tell kids. Join the military ain't a job. It's a lifestyle. We travel a lot. I got to keep a backpack. We got to be able to be anywhere in the world within 72 hours with my job. So it's one of those things where you ain't going to have no regular 9-to-5 life. I tell chicks, if you want that, you need to find an accountant because I ain't that dude.
Right.
So it's the warrior
you was back
culture.
then, you was the Al B. Sure comedy. So.
So you're saying that given your position in the military, you have to be ready to go within 72 hours.
Right. That's, most depending on what type of unit you're in. Yes. I mean, that's our main, protocol. If we get the order where the flag goes up, yeah, you got to be able to get to your unit and be ready to go somewhere within 72 hours. We could be sitting on another continent in 2-3 days if we have to, if it really jumps off.
So what do you mean when you say when the flag goes up?
That means when you get the call from the Pentagon down, if they say, okay, it's going down, we're going to war, they start mobilizing units. It's called, combat teams. You start putting the pieces together of what team you want here, what team you want there. That's all the general's job. They sit around looking at the big map. Then they start making that. Once they do that, they put it in what's called an op order, and that starts going down to the unit commanders, and they start breaking down their piece, and it filters all the way down to each unit. So you start getting the call like, hey, we leaving, get your stuff, be here, tomorrow at this time. That's what happened during first Desert Storm. I was a brand new lieutenant. I just got out of college like 3 months before that, and I got the calls like, hey, we going to war, be here in 2 days with your bags packed. I was like, what? It's like, so yeah.
Well, that's a good distraction piece,
like
though. I always kept you.
What'd you say?
That keep you arm distance out of relationships. Even though you're not in a time of war, you can be like, yo, my bags is packed.
Right.
Like with 72 hours.
Right. And that's really what it is. A lot of women like the uniform or they like military dudes, but yeah, that lifestyle ain't fair. A lot of chicks can't take that because there's a lot of uncertainty. Plus, if you on active duty, you moving every 3 years. A lot of people don't want to pull their kids out of school, find a new house. I mean, you literally moving somewhere every 3 to 4 years in the military for your whole career.
Well, you look like you're in really good shape still. I'm assuming that you have to be.
He came back
yeah,
to the club,
I still try to get it in. I can't let them catch me slipping. I can still knock somebody's teeth out if I need to.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Maestro. Remember, you used to when your material, and then you had a joke. I don't know which one it was, but you would always wind up kicking in the air and all that. I was like, do you remember that? I was like,
yeah.
Okay, so was your comedy based a lot around your military background as well?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it I took out of my real life, but
right.
I didn't really like telling too much of my real life on stage because, I'm pretty private, actually. I was always quiet growing up. So people think, all comedians was class clowns and all that. I was the opposite, though. I was like the quiet, athletic, studious dude. I ain't even talk that much. So my comedy started coming out on stage where I could let loose. That was like, the alter ego part of it where I would tell a little bit about the military and a little bit about my, my martial arts background, all that stuff. But I try to never tell too much. I give people just enough sprinkles so you can get the idea that I ain't just making it up. It's some legit to it. Right. But I don't never let them know how much.
But it was good seeing you on stage last week, man. You haven't missed a beat, bro.
That's not what I heard. I heard you struggled a little bit, but no, I'm just kidding. That's
Lewis Dix.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. Listen, I want to sincerely thank you for just being you. I mean, I think you should definitely write a book. I think that's a great story.
Thanks. I've been thinking about it actually. I've been tossing it around. A couple of my friends mentioned it to me. I did write I wrote a script about coming back from Iraq about an actor with PTSD trying to do comedy. So yeah, we trying to see what that's gonna do now. But yeah, I think it's hard writing about your real life.
But I think you should definitely interview all the comedians who have been in the service.
Yeah,
there are a lot of them.
That's a good idea.
Owens, sit down and just talk about how their transition and their life and how it's that whole thing of just their journey and knowing that they're going to get a flag when they pass.
Are you in town or out of town now? Are you still in California or are you somewhere else now?
I'm back in Cali now.
He's got a green screen.
Yeah, can't you tell by the green screen? They don't have them anywhere else but Cali.
Well, he can put any location.
The reason that's why I asked, because it was a green screen. Maybe you were trying to hide where you were at. Put it in the military.
Exactly.
Thank you,
that too.
He's actually on Soul Train set.
Maestro, I want to thank you, man. You always been down with me because I got to deal with people sometimes, but Maestro has always had my back.
Well, hey, listen, I've always liked you. I've never felt you like me, but I've always liked you. No, really, much respect. I've always respected you.
And you was always my nemesis when it came to the women at the comedy club. So
right, right. Me and Jeff used to always be like, "Damn, if I'm on stage, see a hot one come in, I'm like, damn it, Jeff already saw."
That motherfucker will always get them.
Well, listen, thank you so much, man. Stay safe. And much love and respect,
I love
Maestro.
you, man. Thank you for
Be good, baby boy.
Hey, I appreciate y'all, bro. I love y'all too.
You know what's up, boy?
Yeah, Lewis, man, you was always cool, dog.
Yeah,
I
I
always
know.
thought you was a clever brother, man.
No, even when I think you did that. I did warm up for a TV show you were on with the guy from Charles in Charge. And
yeah. Scott Baio.
Yeah, Scott Baio. So, yeah.
Maestro, you were the only one cool with Lewis. No one else liked Lewis back in the day. Mr.
Hey,
Cosby.
that's one thing, though. Anytime I had a show, I tried to hook my boys up. If they would ask me, I would always try to throw a comedian's name for something, warm up, whatever.
Right.
Just to help some brothers get paid. I would always try to look out as much.
I wish we had more guys
And,
like you out there.
Yeah, no, and I never forgot that. So thank you so much, man. Much respect. See you later.
Hey, appreciate y'all. Dog.
All right, Maestro, be up, baby.
All right. What a nice guy.
All right, boy.
Y'all be cool. Appreciate it.
I would read his book.
I would read his book. That's my guy.
That's a great guy. Listen, I have to go.
I'll be in this book.
Can I share a story with you about him? So
Yes, I have to go. Go ahead.
So, I don't know if you guys remember when I first came out.
It's going to be a long story.
Yeah, really. You already started off, but I don't know if you remember. Just get to the story.
Anyway, Maestro had my back.
Is that on the podcast? Help him tell stories? What do you tell people about the podcast? Huh? Okay, so okay, go ahead.
Thank you, POTUS. Well,
can you just call him private and tell him?
No, go ahead. Tell the
story.
So
I remember, one time there was this room out there that I was trying to be like Chris Tucker because when I get on stage, my voice would go up. So it became a big issue with me and Chris and some other people, some other comedians. Actually, God rest his soul, me and D. Militant, we kind of cleaned it up. But anyway,
well,
I went to my questions and story. I went to Maestro because Maestro was roommates with Chris Tucker.
Okay.
And I said to Maestro, Maestro, man, do you think I'm trying to be like Chris Tucker, man? And Maestro's like, nah, man, be who you are, man. You doing just fine, just who you are. So I've always said we've always had a friendship like that because he always respected my comedy and was there for me in that time and that moment.
Well, first of all, whoever told you that was just fucking with you. They lied to you.
Yeah, because you don't have enough talent to be like Chris Tucker. No, just kidding. Damn. All right, no, we just about to hold it down. Tonight, championship. We're gonna go get
it. Where's the game at?
Game is in Corona Centennial. Corona.
You gotta get a haircut.
I'm gonna go get one now.
Oh,
that's why you.
That's why I gotta leave.
Good luck, Lou.
You gotta look right for the championship game. Peace. Thank you.
Is it freshmen?
No, it's just varsity. Freshmen don't play championship games.
Okay, I didn't know, man. I ain't been in school in 20-something years, 30-something years.
Your focus is just.
Hey, man. I got to complete this task. Thank you.
Hey, good luck, Lou. Let me move.
Yeah, move over.
Yeah, I'm tired of being near him. Hey, Lou.
Yeah.
You want to take your phone with you, though? So you want to talk shit if we look through it? Yeah, you might want to do that. There you go, buddy. Thank you, man. Yeah, I know I'm good for something. Ass up out of here.
Yeah. Y'all go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
Well, thank you. Boy, he leaves and the producer leaves. This is bullshit.
I got to leave. We got to end it at 12 anyway.
Where you got to go?
I got shit I got to do today. I got to do some pickups today on this pilot that I was shooting.
Well, I just hold the show by myself.
You can do that as well.
Anyway, what's going on, Jeff?
Everything, man. I mean, it's Friday. It's the last weekend. People always get confused with Black History Month, but I'm black every month.
No, you're black every day, Jeff.
Yeah, so it's like, what do you got planned for this weekend?
Oh, I have a show tonight.
Where at?
At the Ha-Ha. I'm doing the first show, and then I'm hosting both shows tomorrow night.
At the Ha-Ha?
Yeah. They actually show me a lot of love, man.
Can I do a guest spot?
No.
Okay.
No. Hear what I'm saying, though. No, hear what I'm saying.
No. You don't have to say no more.
No, it's not big.
Say no more.
I'm going to say more because I'm about to explain to you. I said no kind of fast, but what I want to say is if you come up there, because if Terry haven't seen your face in a while, she's
Terry's
always
the
there.
wife.
The wife, yeah.
Yeah, she's seen me several times.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So when you come up there, especially if I'm hosting, I'm saying, hey, can Jeff do a guest spot?
She's seen me several times.
When they come up there.
She was when Alex was doing it on Tuesday night.
I'm not like a lot of comments. I'll keep it 100. I'm not going to say, yeah, come up, I got you. Then you come up there and I can't get you. You're going to look at me side-eyed.
No.
Yeah. But they actually, I want to give a shout out to the Ha Ha, man, because they are the club in town that really has given me a lot of opportunity to perform. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it.
Oh, well.
Yep.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah. So, good. Jeff, what you think about the T.I. situation, man? I really wanted to hear what Lewis's point of view is, but
I mean, my whole thing is, if you're gonna do it, dedicate yourself to doing it. I mean, go hard. I mean, I think comedy's a different beast from any other form of entertainment. Mm-hmm. I've always felt that way. I mean, when you're an actor or an actress,
right,
you have scripted words that you recite, that people wrote for you. Mm-hmm. And then you bring those words to life.
Right.
You bring those words to a forefront. You give them emotions and power. And then you have people that's constantly around you, encouraging you, telling you how wonderful you are, how you brought those words off the paper, how they touched you, how they affected you. When you're a singer, and if you don't have the voice to carry, mm-hmm. you can always turn, because you've seen it old school sometimes. If that person's voice, it's not where it should be or anything, but they have the package, but not the complete package. You know what I'm saying? They can always turn and like, bam, take it away.
Okay.
Take it away. And then you can groove with the band. Rappers, if it's a funky beat, they don't know how to rap you with the beat.
Right.
I've always felt comedians, we're vulnerable.
Right.
We're up there asshole bucket naked. Mm-hmm. We have no protection. We have no help. It's just a microphone and a light on us. And you got eyes staring at you. So you have to, you have to really embody that timing and that delivery to get that response, that laughter.
Right. I agree.
You have to be interesting.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I say in terms of a comedian, I won't go back to all of the different phases of entertainment, but in terms of a comic, the thing that I don't see with a lot of the young comics, and specifically with T.I. right now, in terms of I don't see the humbleness, but what I really don't see is the understanding that when someone says you're not ready or you shouldn't be there, sometimes it's not hate. Sometimes it's almost protection. And what I mean by that is when you're on stage with them big boys, the Quakes and Chris Rocks and all these dudes, and these dudes are bringing the heat, if you go on stage after them or even in between and you bring that crowd down, we've been in the game long enough. Someone to say, why y'all have him on the show? Now, we know T.I. is a face, a superstar, rapper. He can put asses in the seat. But also, like when Godfrey was talking to him, he was like, I'm not saying he's not going to be good, but he's not ready now. Comedy is the only art that you can have a room of 200 people with different feelings and emotions going on at one time, and your goal is to make them laugh at that one all together. And I don't think T.I. sees that, and it bothers me to see how really kind of combative he was towards Godfrey. And
can I add?
Yeah.
Everybody starts somewhere.
Exactly.
And dealing with comics all the years that I've been dealing with comics, it's like you guys don't want new people in the game. It's like you guys, and I'm not saying everybody, but it just seems like I hear a lot of the comics that are of our generation putting down the internet comics, not helping them, not supporting them. They want to say, oh, you're not a real comic because you on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I know there's a difference of being on Instagram and being live on stage. Right. I know that there's a difference with that, but it seems like it's just such a disconnect.
I totally disagree.
With the newer generation.
I disagree with you.
And everybody starts somewhere. You may not start off funny. He might need to get some of them knocks and fall down and get back up.
But think what you're saying. This is why I disagree with you.
Okay.
I've told Jeff, I think I said this earlier when I went live with it. The thing about comedy, comedy's the only art that anybody in the world can say they are. You could go to an open mic night tomorrow night, grab the mic one time, and tell everybody you're a comedian.
What makes a comedian?
In my eyes, let me say what makes a comedian. Discipline. In terms of characteristics, discipline. But there's different styles There's so many different stuff. I was not joking, but I tell people I'm the Black George Carlin because I like to tell stories. But to go back to what you said, I don't know any comedians, and I've been in this game 30 years. I can finally say so. I know I've been in the game that did not want someone to be in there from another art. It was more of the paying your dues in terms of you getting better. I don't think anybody dislikes T.I. personally, but I don't think anybody wants to see him go in there and make a fool of himself or don't
It's just
look
like
good.
they had actors have a problem with rappers
But
being in movies.
But that's a great point. You know why? Because Samuel Jackson had an issue with that back in the day with Ice Cube. But Ice Cube did it smart. Ice Cube knew he wasn't no comedian, so when he did Fridays, he put every comic in there to ease his street American KKK into like, okay, Ice Cube's got a personality. Ice Cube has a funny side to him. It's a buildup.
I think it is too. Is when people come into your craft and they haven't really studied it or paid their dues. Right. I think maybe that has something to do with.
It's like if you're doing it for a long time, and you've been grinding, and you've been doing the chitlin circuit, and then you finally got a taste, just a little taste of mainstream, and then someone comes up out of it. And with my problem is with a lot of these internet comics, yeah, they funny, but to
pull
me,
your mic to you.
They're all black Seinfelds. That's what they are, because they take.
Who told T.I. he was funny?
No, but they,
I haven't seen his comedy, so I can't even judge it. But
finish your point, Jeff. I want to say something on that. Go ahead, finish your point, Jeff.
Internet comics is like if you have a joke, and with your joke, and people are sitting there and they know it's part of this joke, and people are visualizing it because you tell it so well. So my thing is, if I'm taking the easy route, so I can just say, okay, you know what? Her joke, it's funny. I'll just go ahead and bring it to visual. I'll make it visual now, so people can actually see it. So I think that's what a lot of these internet comics are doing now. They're taking those moments to like, okay, now, like Country Wayne for one. I watched several of his videos. I think he's funny.
Who is this?
Country Wayne.
Oh,
I think he's funny. But what he does is like, he gives you the instance of being with a side chick, being this thing, being in this instance. It's all 3 to 4 minutes, and it's like a joke. It's like one comic, I forgot who it was, and I called Lewis. And I said, hey, man, this comic just brought your McDonald's joke to visualization. He just did it. When Lewis was like, yo, did I ask for small fry? Did I did that? And the comic did it. And I was like, yo, that's your joke. Now, and with Kevin Tate situation, he has the ceiling fan joke. This one comic and his girlfriend, they're a comedy duo, they do the ceiling fan. Mm-hmm. And they from L.A.
Yeah, wow.
And they do it until they got like 4 million hits.
Yeah. And see, I look at it this way. The way that the country and the world is now, the attention span is so short. That's why people on internet are getting what they're getting, because people are, 30 seconds, a minute. They go, oh, they're funny. These guys are funny. We always say when the internet thing started happening, okay, you can be funny, like Maestro said, you can be funny in the backyard and you can be funny, but now I'm putting you on stage and you got to hold this audience because I'm giving you 6 figures and you got to hold this audience for 30, 40 minutes. And most of them can't do it. I don't care about it. Because I would say your hustle is your hustle. My whole thing is in terms of what POTUS said, in terms of what makes you a comedian is if you don't really know, like with T.I., I have no problem with T.I., no matter how he goes about it. But think about, again, he's jumping on stage with the Donnell Rollins. He can get he's going to get all of the big shows.
Right.
And
it's because of his name.
He's not ready. So what happens with us as comedians, what we do, just like we'll riff on each other here, we'll bag, we'll talk about you. You can't all of a sudden take that serious and then become a gangster and go, man, these motherfuckers don't like me because they know I'm funnier than them. No, people are going to go at you. And that's what Godfrey did. And it saying, yo, he going to be all right, but he ain't ready yet.
But I mean, it's to the point where it's like, you put in work.
Yeah.
And you've loaded up your gun. And, you're not shooting blanks. So when you go to the Laugh Factory, Chocolate Sundays. You go to a Monday D-Ray's. You go to the Comedy Store, and they know you, and they respect you. So when a Chappelle comes in, you can be like, okay, I can take that bump.
But you know the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Portis, Portis comes in. It's like, oh, Portis going up. Oh, I can take that bump. But then it's like T.I. comes in, and he has proven himself in the comedy world. And it's like, yo, we putting T.I. up next. Wait a minute, hold up.
But Jeff, I disagree with you on that part. Only because with the younger comics, I can see them get mad. But with us, and we know the game in terms of...
No, I would get mad if I put in all that work at the club to establish that spot.
But what I'm saying, though, Jeff,
how
many years you been in?
I've been in it 35 years.
So you ain't going to be... If T.I. came in, if you was at the club now, and
no,
you about to go stage, you would...
If Portis was running the club, and I put in the work at her club for 35 years to get to that paid regular, to where I could come in and be like, Portis, like, she trusts me. She know that, okay, he's going to deliver. But I'm still not at that monumental top yet. But she knows that the value that I bring to that club. Yeah, so if T.I. comes in and it's a hot
I'm putting
night,
T.I. on.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to...
and it's no disrespect to you, but
I would take it that way.
But Jeff, you shouldn't. But you should take it. I know
T.I. is...
Let me say,
even though he's been out a while, he is of this generation. He's a younger, up and coming comic.
I said, you giving. I would have to say to myself, you giving the value of that ticket.
Yeah.
So when people leave, they say, okay, we got to see T.I.
But here's the thing, though. I don't think you would take. I wouldn't take it that way because one, you're established.
Right.
So
you're there every week. And you're there. People done seen you.
Yeah. So and to me, it's even stronger to come behind him, whether he's good or bad, and do what you do. I wouldn't take it personal. When I first started again, I never speak for anyone else. I remember being at the Comedy Act, and when Michael Williams started giving me time, because first, I used to host the amateur show. So that's how I got my bones. That's how I got my hosting bones. And I remember Mike was putting me on the main show sometime. But Jeff, you know and I know, you'll be ready. You'll be at the door. You have 1 eye on stage and you have 1 eye at the door, hoping that, okay, shit, please don't let no name come in here, because I know I'm not going to go on stage no matter how much Mike might like me or whatever, because if Damon Wayans, Chris Rock, you know what I mean? Martin Lawrence, not even Chris Tucker really at the time, but Chris was still coming up. No. But certain people...
Because it's not personal.
It's not. It's asses in the seat.
It's what the producer or the stage person thinks is going to...
But in T.I.'s case, he's taking it personal on what comedians are saying because he's being thrown...
That's ego, because he's a celebrity. Most celebrities have that ego.
No, but that's a different type of ego. It's an ego like, I'm going to be all right. It's different when you say, these motherfuckers don't like me, and you might want to go ahead and... you might want to chill out, man, because, I can do... No, bro. Comics, these Godfreys, these big boys, they're not going to lose no paper by not fucking with you.
Right.
These dudes are established. These dudes they're going to make more paper off of you. That's why Godfrey said, I'm happy I had T.I. on my show. It's going to pump up my likes. It's going to pump... But the thing about T.I., which I had an issue with, was he said something that really the only thing that really rubbed me wrong on Corey Holcomb's show. He said, most of these guys probably don't like me because I'm funnier than them. And I'm like...
Have you seen him?
Me? No.
So how do you know he's not funny?
I never said he wasn't. My comments are off.
He could be funnier than those guys.
Then who?
Then whoever he was talking about.
But see, of course, people
we don't know because we haven't seen T.I.'s.
Like Godfrey said.
I didn't even know T.I. was trying to do
Godfrey
comedy.
heard him, and those people saw him, and they said he ain't ready. Put it this way.
But that's his opinion.
But see, here's the thing, POTUS, what Jeff just saying. Now I look at Jeff's side. Yes, that is his opinion. But that doesn't mean that
because isn't comedy to the person's we're
not talking about the audience.
Because what's funny to one person may not be funny to the other.
We're not talking about the audience. We know that. We're not talking about the audience.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about being in a position. What Jeff just said, which I agree with only in this part, and you're doing shows with people, it can hurt your brand if you're not ready.
Well, then that's his problem.
But that's what people are talking about. But then he's taking it, yes, of course that's his problem. But then he's taking it personal as comedians are attacking him. And I don't believe comics are attacking him. They're like, bro, You're not
But
ready.
the thing is, y'all attack each other all the time.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
It's also,
what comedians? No, okay, tell me who.
Please, I'm not gonna say no names, but I've seen comedians hate on each other.
all the
They
time.
do
And
it.
even
All the
female comics, even though
yeah.
I feel like female comics should be sticking
They the
together,
worst. They the worst.
but I've
They the
seen
worst.
so many
Female comics.
not look out for each other
Yeah.
and that could be because y'all are only putting one female on per show.
No, my show now. It's 2 males, 2 females.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
you, but most comedy shows that you go
Well, because
to,
most female comics, a lot of them, unfortunately, and I'm just saying, not all of them, but unfortunately, a lot of them talk about the same thing. And so if I'm going to talk about the same thing and I know I can get a bigger name, I'm going to go with Melanie Camacho.
But
I'm going to go with someone else.
yeah, but you're only gonna. That's the only one you're gonna go with.
Well, you
on
just
the
said
show?
you just said you put T.I. on.
but
You
you
just
know
said you
No,
put T.I.
I'm
on.
saying the problem is every time you go to a comedy show,
Right.
You most of the time there's
It's
only
male
one
dominated.
female
It's male
on the
dominated.
lineup.
And a lot of female, unfortunately,
so
a
the
lot of
females got to vie for that
See,
position.
you're fighting now. You're making it a female thing, and it's
No,
not
no,
that.
no,
you are because you just said it.
No,
It's
it is
comedy.
a female thing.
It
My
is.
thing when I reach
it's
out
what
to,
I see.
No,
when I reach out to a lot of female comics today, and I agree 100% with you, Portis, is that the hate there is when I reach out
That's
to
amongst
them,
the comics, not promoters.
But one of it's always, and I've reached out to a lot because I want different voices on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So on the show we do, we put 2 males, 2 females. So when I reach out to the females, one of them always say, well, who's the other female? And I tell, oh, I don't fuck with that bitch.
Yeah.
See,
What that got to do
I've
with
seen,
anything?
What's that got to
I've
do with the
seen it.
promoter?
I've seen it
and then-
myself.
What does that have to do with the promoter?
But my
No,
response
what
is,
has to do with the promoter is they only put one
what did Jeff
female on the lineup.
And what did Jeff just say?
Jeff could put up 2 if
And what
that
did-
comic don't want to, then that's her
And
problem.
there
Right,
it
and
is.
that's what I
But you
was telling
also,
them.
but also you, and this I do know. A lot of times when women are doing shows together or on tour, because I've heard about it, they bring a lot of drama. So a lot of dudes don't want to have that. You don't want to. I was on a
That's
tour.
so goddamn sexist.
Why is it sexist when it's the truth?
You're like y'all don't have drama
See,
and be
but-
tripping
but
with
we
each
ain't
other.
talking about y'all right
I've
now.
heard about so many
See,
comics fighting.
See,
over women,
Stop
all of that
handling the
shit,
mic,
yeah.
please. If you need me to fix it, I'll
do
come
it.
up there.
Listen, let me say something, POTUS. You can't. If you're talking to one child about eating ice cream, you can't blame the other one because he ate a cookie. We're talking about the females ones right now. What I'm trying to say is not being sexist. It happens. I was on tour with a female comic, and she left the tour for no reason. And it's like, man, we got drama. A lot of times it's be dramas, female drama on tour, and people say it. Now, do men have drama? Yes. But we're not talking about that now. So you can't take it personal and go, well, it's men too. Yeah, we're talking right now about why female. Jeff just said it. I have 2 females on, and what the other female say? Oh, I don't fuck with her. Now, yeah, Jeff can put on
That's
the
just
shit.
2 females. There's a lot of female comics out there that would jump at the opportunity
then we shouldn't be talking about this
to
then.
perform.
Then we shouldn't be talking about this then, because what we're doing is we're not talking about
We're
the truth.
talking about comics in general.
Then let me finish that point. What Jeff just said. If
Why
they
are you
say
yelling?
that, well, I just talk loud. But if Jeff said that, think about it. He just said, "Oh, well, I don't fuck with him. I don't fuck with her." Think about it. It ain't that many female comics, and a lot of them have those issues. I have talked to other female comics that be like, oh, she thinks, and I don't comment with them because I don't go back and forth. I was on a show where a female comic felt another person, the other female comic did her material at the show, and right there on the stage, didn't want to do no time, just talked about it and left stage. Men have issues, but our issues, I never really seen a lot of men issues on the road. I'm gonna be honest with you. But you could just be.
I've seen some.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I've told like.
Jeff, you just trying to be PC correct.
No.
Because you ain't being real right now.
I've traveled with comics. I've worked with comics. I've produced.
But not like a lot of these females.
It's the same drama.
Exactly.
It's the same drama.
It is the same drama.
Niggas get on the road, and I've heard.
Okay, POTUS, how about you then?
Hold up, let me finish.
Go ahead.
I've heard niggas on the road with each other. I'm not gonna fuck with you because he fucked that chick. I don't want to fuck with him.
Okay.
I don't want to fuck with him. So kick that nigga off. Or I've
seen
the
biggest thing I hear is that nigga took my shit, or that nigga bit my jokes, or
another thing is that you hear what motherfuckers is like, yo, my man. Like I even had it happen to me when I was out with my boss. Motherfucker came up to me and was like, yo, man, you got to tone it down a little bit. It's like, what? You got to tone it down.
Okay, let me ask you a
what
question.
I'm saying.
Who do you blame, though?
No, but hold up.
Do you blame the promoter or the comedians?
But it comes from the. But see, I got fired from this tour with a comic. I ain't gonna say the motherfucker's name, but it was cool though.
Okay.
But then the promoter was caught in the middle because the promoter liked me and he liked him. So when he came up to me, the person was the star and all that. I was like, okay, cool. I had to relinquish. I had to get back. I'm like, yo, so why, and all that. It's like, my man, I thought it was cool. And you know what his answer to me was? I'm like, so what? He said, who do you think it's coming from? I'm just the middle person delivering the message. Who do you think this message is coming from?
Exactly. So my point,
it's coming from the comedian.
Yeah, but that's the point I'm trying to make with POTUS. Whether it's male or female with the drama, when it comes down to it, the promoter, he books the show. But if the top dog doesn't want to be with you, because that's what I say. Well, I'm thinking about having Dannon Green. No, I don't fuck with Dannon.
Exactly.
Then that's it. So it has nothing to do.
The top dog could be male or female, and they could say, "I don't want to be on the same bill or ticket."
Whether
as
it's,
this person.
I just said, whether it's male or female, the top dog.
Right.
Dog doesn't mean just man.
Right. So I'm saying,
a
lot of comics hate on each other. Period. Whether they're females or male.
But
and
in
I've seen
T.I.'s
it
case,
with my own eyes.
But in T.I.'s case, he's not even in the game.
That's the same case as actors getting mad at rappers trying to act.
They're upset. In terms of what Godfrey said, okay, I like to stick to the subject matter or the person, the narrative. Godfrey, I don't know, even though I spoke with a couple comics last night, I don't know what all the comedians are saying. I'm saying what Godfrey was saying is, I'm not saying he's not going to be good. They were upset because Godfrey didn't watch T.I.'s show after Godfrey just did an hour and a half, 40 minutes on stage.
Why should he watch his show?
Exactly. And T.I. See, this is the point.
It could be true he's not ready, and it could be true he's not funny.
But that doesn't mean that someone's hating on him. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm not. I'm saying.
No, you said earlier why they're hating.
I'm saying I've seen a lot of comedians from your generation hating on these new cats coming up. I've seen it and heard it with my own eyes. It's not something I heard.
I'm not saying
it is something I have seen.
Okay, and like I told somebody the other night, which I've tried to do, I embrace the young comics because some of these dudes are getting it. A lot of them remember me from Comic View.
Yep. So and a lot of them could put you on later on.
That's the point I'm saying. And not only that, but a lot of them have come to me and asked me questions about the game. I feel respected for that, even though I'm not at the level I want to. But the point I'm trying to say, when I want to stick to the narrative just real quick about what you said earlier, you made the point. By saying someone is not ready, by saying someone needs to more work, doesn't mean hate.
I don't, and I agree with you on that.
And so when an OG,
but sometimes people ain't coming from that space.
But what I'm saying though, when a comic that's an OG that's been in the game 20 years, 25, 30, and sees a young boy coming up, and then they see you jump on stage with a Donnell Rollins or Earthquake, you know what I mean, or these big, they go, why is he up there? He ain't ready. Now we understand. He might have put ass in seats, but he didn't really put ass in seats.
He got to start somewhere.
And that's a great point. So when people say, why not start an open mic? He got upset saying, well, why do I
Because he's T.I., he has an advantage.
Well, he does.
He has a name.
So you're saying his whole career, I'm not saying he shouldn't, but I'm saying you're saying that it's okay for him to start. And then to me, this is not 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I wouldn't have a problem with him. Not have had that I have a problem. But it wouldn't be bad for him to be on there with Earthquake and them. Hold on. Because of social media. Because now people can look at T.I., see him bombing, and in 10 seconds, it could be around the world.
This is a classic story at the Congress.
Would you agree?
But this of old.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with putting anybody on the bill with anybody. Right. Even if they're new and no name. They got to start somewhere. But and if it's starting with the big boys, then it starts with the big boys. So
you're saying put a person on that says he's a comedian, has never done no time, and then I'm going to say, you know what, let's put him on the Kings of Comedy tour. That's what you're saying. Because a tour is a tour.
If he's funny.
You can't say that. See, you can't say that.
If he's funny.
Well, how can you say
he can still be new and funny?
Okay. I don't think you really understand. And you've been around the game a long time. I'm surprised at you because you've been around the game a long time.
It's my opinion, and it's from my perspective.
I understand, but
so
I'm just
just
saying,
because I'm not on the same page as you are with it.
I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying. I'm just surprised because you've been around the game and you know the game.
I'm just saying that some of the way that we think in our generation is antiquated. We are living in a new day and time.
Technology and all that.
Okay.
So it's not the same as 30 years ago.
So then that should be, to me, that should be his argument and that should be Godfrey's argument. Because neither one of them are saying that. They're just talking about people hating. But if
a different thing, here's an old classic story of old and new. Richard Pryor and me and Robin was there the night. Richard Pryor was getting ready to go up at the Comedy Store. It's about 11:30 at night. Everybody was waiting for Richard. Eddie came in. Eddie fresh and hot. So Richard said, well, let Eddie go up first. We want to put this new cat up. He's funny. Put him up. Eddie went up and did an hour and a half. Paul Mooney and John Witherspoon jumped all up in Eddie's face.
Okay.
Was like, who the fuck are you? You were supposed to do 10 minutes. The fuck are you? The king is here, and you did this and all that and all that. And then Richard heard it, and Richard pulled Paul Mooney and John Witherspoon aside and said, yo, don't disrespect the young guy like that. He's going to be great. Y'all may need him, so go apologize to him.
Okay, but Eddie also came, when he came to Cali, it was not like Eddie wasn't a beast.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying.
But that's different.
Just said
no,
that.
You did not.
I said if you're funny and if you're new and still funny,
Eddie was, when Eddie came and did a comedy store, he wasn't new. He had this Saturday Night Live.
He had Delirious.
Yes. Come on. I'm talking. What I'm trying to say is, if I go out to Crenshaw right now and pluck a dude off that got a great smile, and he made me laugh for 5 seconds by saying, "Man, you should have started a cheeseburger I just ate," and then I put him on the Kings of Comedy, you're saying that's where he should start?
I don't think they're just gonna throw him on the Kings of Comedy if he's not funny.
No, a tour is a tour.
If he's not funny. They're not gonna put him on the tour.
POTUS, you playing word game.
No, I'm not.
You are.
They're not gonna. That don't make no sense to put an unfunny motherfucker on a tour.
How do you know a motherfucker ain't funny if you ain't seen him before?
Because how they gonna put him on tour without even knowing his comedy?
Then why would they put him on tour? You just said it doesn't make a difference.
I didn't say doing a comedy night and being on tour is two different things.
Wait a minute. Now you said a comedy night. You said a tour earlier.
I said if he's funny, they're going to put him on tour. They're not just going to put him on tour without knowing his comedy.
This is a battle I'm not going to win.
Yep.
Because you ain't listening. Yep, you ain't listening. You ain't listening.
So what do we get out of that, the T.I.? I mean,
I guess he should be on every tour.
Let's get into some other news. We spent enough time.
I think he should just, keep grinding and.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think people's hating on him. Himself. I think really, that's what he needs to do. I really believe if you do me a solid. POTUS, do me a favor though. Watch the Godfrey interview with T.I. and watch the Corey Holcomb interview with T.I.
I ain't giving Corey not a goddamn click.
Okay,
so
well watch. Okay, well
I don't really care about T.I.'s comedy career.
No, but I want you to watch
even spend time looking into.
The reason that I want you to watch it, the only reason I want you to watch it now is because of our conversation. I want you to understand where I was coming from. I want you to be able to see that it wasn't, and I'm not coming from, especially me, hating that he's on there. I'm just saying what was being said. And see, here's the problem. We're killing people, like Jeff just said. We're killing the messenger, but I ain't the person that said it. I'm just talking about what's been on YouTube and, 350,000 views already in a day. So that's what I'm saying.
All right, let's get into this.
Yeah. Can we talk about your cooking?
25% of the couples in this country.
All right, Joe Biden picks Ketanji Brown Jackson for the Supreme Court. She hasn't been voted in yet, but they think she's going to get in because they have enough votes amongst the Democrats, and then Kamala is the tiebreaker. So
well, she's in.
They should just go ahead and just
here she is.
Just usher her right in.
This will make her the first black woman on the nation's highest court.
How do you get on there?
You have to
I guess you be.
No, I mean from your whole past. How do you get to be a Supreme Court?
Well,
justice?
she was actually a judge. She's been a judge, and she was also a public defender.
Yeah.
So she's been in law. She's,
No, but I'm saying, how do you get to this? Like, do you have to go?
The president, I guess, chooses you.
No, what I'm saying, do you go from state? Like, say you're a judge, and then you go from
federal judge to the
right,
judge.
yeah.
So it's your track record and all that, and then you get nominated. They look for you, and they look at your record on, convictions.
Whether you're conservative.
What about what about your political? Do they look at your political views, right?
Yeah, they look at your political views. What do you feel about Roe versus Wade? Education.
Do you think they get sneaky sometime? Like switch up? No, what I'm saying is, because remember when Clarence Thomas was coming on, and they had Anita, the girl, Anita Hill, because they said that he had a relationship with her and talk about the pubic hair and all that stuff. And then he went on and said, "Oh man, this is like a public lynching, and all the black people went to support him."
Right. I mean,
and then after he got on there,
he wouldn't have made it in this day and age with the pubic hair comment.
No, they're gonna do the same thing to her. I mean,
but what I'm saying, POTUS. But what I'm saying is, with Clarence, what I've asked Jeff is not about the situation, but you see how he played the black card. Remember that? This is a public lynching, blah, blah, blah. And everybody ran to him. And then when he got on the bench, he was one of the most, is that conservative or
conservative?
Yeah. So this particular nominee, she, I think Biden picked her because was sort of along the lines of the judge that's going out, Breyer.
Yep.
And she actually worked under him. So so whatever his ideals and
his ideology was.
Yeah, so she's kind of along those lines as well. So
they want to bring that bipartisan to the bench and not keep it to the pendulum where it's at now.
What's the purpose of the Supreme Court?
I mean, they do a lot. I mean,
it's the highest court in the land, and they just make the decisions on major things that major.
Do they do
issues?
Do they do it individually? Like,
I think they probably
right?
vote on them.
It's a vote, and it has to be a majority.
So is that like, say there's a case? So do they have like a special cases like almost every day or every week? Like, do they?
The Supreme Court is like after you go through the state process, and then you fail through the state process, then you go through the federal process, and then when that is like kicked down, and it's like the Supreme Court has to hear your trial. So once the Supreme Court hear it, that could be the final ruling.
Man, how many cases do you think they hear? They got to hear a year then.
They hear a lot.
Gosh.
They hear a lot, and once it gets to the Supreme Court, it's like it's the final ruling. This is the last bout.
So they do death row too. Do they do death row too?
Yeah,
they do.
I don't know.
No, yeah, they can overturn a death row conviction,
or say you're not. We can't.
Yeah,
we're not gonna...
or they can pass. They can say we don't want to hear the case.
Gosh.
It can stay at the state level. We don't need to hear the case.
How much they get paid a year? How much do they make a year?
If you know that answer, goddamn, Jeff.
I know, but I find it very interesting. I just think
it's a lifelong. You can't. This is one job.
Like
I think they make over
tenure.
$400,000 a year. You can't be fired from this job.
It's like a college professor. Once you get tenure,
you can't be fired from this job. You can't be removed from the bench. I think you can. The only thing is you can be impeached, but no Supreme Court justice has ever been impeached.
Okay, so they say the Chief Justice salary last year was $277,000.
Is that the big one, the top dude?
Yeah.
I guess that's Chief Justice.
That's Chief
I don't know in the Supreme Court.
Yep, that's the head person.
Shit, you'd be better off being a judge in your city.
No, the greatest thing about it is you have the full health benefit package, all of that, and it's a job that you could never be fired from. No matter what your decision is.
That's a powerful job. Man.
It's just like, but you can never be fired from it.
No, that's something.
I think
that's a hell of a job.
Yeah, it's a lifelong post, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a cool job to have to be able to walk around knowing you the judge, you the highest judge in the land.
And you can't be fired.
Damn.
No matter, for nothing.
Hey, asshole, get off there. I'm going to get you fired. Can't fire me.
Exactly.
Man.
Okay, so the 3 cops in the George Floyd case was found guilty of violating George Floyd's civil rights.
Oh, when did that happen?
Yesterday.
It came back, right?
Yeah, so they're guilty.
Not a murder, though, right?
They're federal crimes for failing to intervene as another officer killed George Floyd by pressing his knee on his neck for more than 9 minutes. The case was an extraordinarily rare example of the Justice Department prosecuting officers for their interactions while another officer used excessive force. The verdict signaled the police departments across America that juries may become more willing to convict not just officers who kill people on the job, but also those who just stood around and watched. A federal jury determined that officers Tal Thale, J. Alexander Quang, and Thomas Lane had willfully violated Floyd's constitutional rights by not providing medical care when he lost his pulse, and that two of them were also guilty of not intervening to stop a fellow officer from planting his knee on Floyd's neck.
And that was the Asian cop, because he stood right there.
Yeah, he definitely.
He stood right there, and he watched the whole thing. He was telling people to back up. He could have easily went over there and like, yo, my man, yo.
But let me ask you this question.
But when does a cop ever do that, though? I've never seen a cop intervene. Not that they don't, but I
got to find you the video, and I got to send it to you. It's in Detroit. It was a black lieutenant, and they arrested the suspect. But the white officer came right up to the black suspect. I don't know what happened or what transpired, but the white officer punched the suspect right in the face. And then the black lieutenant was like right there. It's like, yo, arrest him right now. Put cuffs on him right now.
Yeah, it happened in Boys in the Hood, too.
Yeah, take him into custody right now.
Remember Boys in the Hood? When the black cop, with the given, the white cop came in and intervened? The black cop said, if you was it. Yeah. Let me ask you this question, though. Do you think, like in this case, the killer cop was the senior cop, right? Remember the other two? No, the other two. One of the other two were.
You talking about George Floyd?
Yes, sir. One was the rookie, and one was the. They were less than like 5 to 7 years in. So, do you think it's a fear factor there, where they want to intervene, but because say George Floyd doesn't die and then they intervene, then they got to deal with. No, I'm just wondering. I'm not.
No, Derek Chauvin, he was the lead.
Right.
He was the lead officer. He was the supervisor.
Right.
So they took orders from him.
Yeah. So
it was hard, them to come and stop.
That's
him.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it would be like it was repercussions because you have that blue line. It's just like Laquan McDonald in Chicago when he was shot 16 times. You could clearly see that he.
But they couldn't stop. But they couldn't stop him.
All the other officers were complicit because their reports were the same way.
Yeah.
It was worded the same way, and not one of those officers could have stepped up and said, "Yo, my man, he's actually 8 to 9 feet away from you. He's really no threat to you."
Well, in that case, it was different because old boy jumped out the car within. They said like within when he pulled the car up within 10 seconds, he was unloading the clip. So I don't even if I see you pop out, I don't even know you're going to cap him. Maybe after the third bullets or something, I'm like, yo, what you doing? But by that time, he already shot him 16 times.
Yeah, so I mean, it's that code of blue. Yeah, it's that code of blue. I've seen it several times where LAP has stopped me, and I'm just like, whether it's black or white, one is the aggressor, one is the submissive one, but you just look at the one and say, yo, my man, you really gonna allow that to happen? You not gonna intervene? You really gonna allow him to throw that kid up against the wall, and you not gonna say nothing?
And people do that all the time. They look at you and tell you to get back.
No, they tell you, yo, you need to back up. No, I'm not gonna back up. You just gonna allow him to just handcuff him like that and just pick him up and throw him and body slam him against the wall? That's okay with you? You don't have a kid?
So POTUS, what are the
so they haven't
years
been
they can
sentenced
get?
yet,
what can they get?
But they're out until they're
sentenced.
Yeah,
but they got the coming up too, though. They got the state trial coming up now.
And so I read a report that
was federal.
I read a report that they're looking at life in prison. That is not confirmed. I don't know.
They're not gonna get it.
I have to.
Oh boy, got what? What old boy got? He only got 20.
22.
So they're not gonna give. They're not gonna give them.
Yeah,
I bet you they'll get them more than 5.
Yeah, so I have to see. They didn't say
if
what
they
can
that.
get up to, and then Jeff just said they have another trial to deal with.
People don't understand though. Once Derek,
I thought it was the criminal and
then
the federal.
It's state first, then federal.
No, it's federal. They went federal first with this one because Derek Chauvin he pleaded guilty to federal. So once he's done state, then he got to go to federal.
But Chef has been in prison over a year now.
Yeah, but that's a state charge. He was found guilty on the state level.
So he went state, but why would they go federal on these guys?
Because sometimes it goes reverse.
Okay.
So sometimes
they said
did it
Chauvin was convicted of murder last year and sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison.
But he pleaded guilty. He didn't even have the trial. He just pleaded guilty.
He's going to do 15.
All the federal.
He's even going to get out early.
Federal, you got to do day for day.
No, federal got to do at least 85%.
No, federal, you got to do 100.
When they change that?
I thought it was 100. I
Nah,
thought it was like 80.
Yeah.
No, state depends on the state. It's,
No, Fed time, Jeff. You got that wrong, Jeff, I believe.
No, federal state is in California. If you serve one, you get 2 to 3 days good behavior. You get 2 to 3 days time off.
Yeah, so that's federal.
No. State is if you do 1 day, you get 2 to 3 days,
of good behavior.
Good behavior or time served. Federal, you got to do day for day.
I thought federal you only have to. I thought feds. You got
in federal prison, you will serve 85% of your sentence.
Yeah, I know that.
You may get to go to a halfway house for a few months before your release.
Yeah, I know the.
So
I know.
yeah, 85%.
Yeah, but what about state?
Let me see.
I just got partners in the feds. I know that.
I think it depends on the state with that. Yeah, it says if a client is sentenced to state prison and does indeed go to state prison, the client will either serve full sentence on the most serious cases like murder, and then a minimum of 85%, or possibly, but less likely now after AB 109, up to 50% of their time.
So how many years what do you think, you guys think, what do you think those guys are going to get?
They'll probably get about 10 years or 5 to 10 years.
Like
now, have they been they've been out already, so they're not going to have no time served, because none of them have been in jail yet.
I don't know. We'll see when they get sentenced. That's coming up. They haven't even set a date for that.
Because they gave old girl. Well, they got to be in custody now because they got found guilty. Oh, you said they was let go though,
nah,
right?
Somebody said I read here that they're out. They're out on bail.
On bond,
but see, old girl, they had her in jail, Kim Potter, and then now they're gonna
she actually murdered the kid.
She got 2 years though.
But so what they're saying? They're just accessory to murder.
Yeah, they failed to give him medical help.
Okay,
intervene with them to stop another officer.
But look, just think about it. They gave her. She killed somebody. She doing, at the most, she'll do 9 months.
Yeah. Because she already got time served.
Yeah, and 16 was the most that they could give her, I think, right? 18 or 16 months was the most they could.
2.5. Yeah.
Right.
So she's already doing time. She already got.
So she'll be out.
Time served.
Yeah, and then they'll put her out on good behavior, so she'll be out in 9 months.
Yeah, and then she'll have to do the rest of the time, like.
Probation officer. But did they take. Hey, POTUS, can you look up to see if they took her pension?
Oh, I don't know.
No, I'm saying, can you look it up?
She got fired.
Yeah, but sometimes if you, well, that's interesting because if you quit before you get fired, you can keep your pension.
Hey, but I gotta end this. I gotta go because I gotta do some pickups for this pilot that I was shooting.
All right, well, let's just end the show.
We can end the show. Yeah, we finished.
Okay. Sorry for the abrupt ending. You all have a safe, fabulous weekend.
All right, Jeff. Good luck on your shoot.
And all of that. And we'll see you next Friday. Thank you, POTUS.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, POTUS.
Catch you next Friday. Peace.
Peace.